Hello and welcome to the program. I am DEJI360. A gale of defection is currently sweeping across the opposition People's Democratic Party in Nigeria. After the departure of the Ebonyi State Governor Dave Umahi about 8 months ago, Cross River State Governor Ben Ayade also moved to the APC in May. Now, the PDP has suffered yet another blow with the defection of the Zamfara State Governor Bello Matawalle'S to the ruling All Progressives Congress APC. With Matawalle'S defection, APC now controls 6 of the 7 states in the northwest of the country, leaving Sokoto Governor Aminu Tambuwal now the only PDP governor left in the region. And by the way, at some point in time, that governor Aminu Tambuwal was actually in the APC. At the National Assembly as well, the 3 Zamfara state lawmakers in the Senate have all announced their resignation and defection to the APC alongside Delta Senator Peter Nwoboshi. In a similar vein, 2 Cross River lawmakers at the House of Representatives have also pitched camp with the ruling APC. And let's not also forget that in the Zamfara State House of Assembly as well, we've seen that gale of defections with a number of PDP lawmakers now defecting to the APC. The same thing we saw in Cross River State and, of course, Ebonyi State. Joining me now to get the party's reaction to this wave of defections is PDP National Publicity Secretary Kola Ologbondinyo. Thank you very much, Mr. Ologbondinyo, for joining us on the program. This must be a very bad time for your party. Within the space of just 8 months, you've lost 3 governors, quite a number of lawmakers. What exactly is going on?
Well, I don't think the picture is as huge as it's been painted by the media. And in respect of what is going on, nothing is really going on that is totally out of place. Politicians in Nigeria sometimes overturn their interests, and in overturning their interests, they act in a manner that becomes questionable in respect of decision-making process. But having laid that foundation, I think what is happening is that people are being coerced, people are being intimidated, but it may sound strange to reasoning that a governor who has immunity will be intimidated out of his own party and he will go and join.
Now, which governor was, which of the governors that have defected so far would you say was intimidated to join the APC?
I don't know any governor that has defected so far that doesn't have an aspect of coercion in the process of defection. And people will come out and give reasons that do not appeal to sensibilities or will not appeal to what can be real. However, Nigerians have to accept their reasons. But going by the intelligence available to us in the People's Democratic Party, we do know as a fact that this All Progressives Congress and their government under the watch of President Muhammadu Buhari are driving towards a one-party state. But we believe in the People's Democratic Party that no matter how powerful a president might sought to use the enormity or the power residing in the presidential
now, is this a question?
Nigerians are the appropriate.
Sorry to interject. Is this a question of the APC driving towards a one-party state, or that you're partly to blame? I mean, your party is partly to blame for what is happening. Let's take the case of the Cross River State governor, for instance. I mean, it was public knowledge when he was in your party that himself and the governor of River State were not in good terms. And, you know, the governor of River State, of course, he wields enormous influence in your party. And one would have thought that your party ought to have intervened in that crisis and tried to resolve it. But we didn't see that happening. At some point, the governors were calling themselves names publicly. How? And eventually, a lot of people believe that actually pushed the Cross River State governor out of your party. So don't you think your party is partly responsible for what has happened so far?
Deji, that is begging the question. Like I told a friend recently, you might not understand the undercurrents in some of these political games. For instance, the instance that we have brought out which is as it concerns Cross River State, if you go deeper into what truly happened, you will discover that unlike the situation that you are painting concerning Governor Wike and concerning Governor Ayade, what goes into that issue is bigger than the picture that you are painting. Or let me say was bigger than the picture that you are painting. What is wrong with contestation? What is in for power? That is the essence of politics. What is wrong with trying to control the situation politically? It's part of politics. But you need to understand that Governor Ben Ayade had a responsibility to himself to bat the structure of the party in his state. And for you to have an understanding of what transpired, yes, you need as a reporter to dig deeper as an investigative reporter, to truly know, to ascertain in the interest of the public what happened in the area of birthing a structure in Cross River State. After you have gone through that process, you will now know, you will now discover that what is being played up in the political arena concerning the perceived domination I
understand your point about the issue of party structure in Cross River State when Governor Ayade was still in your party. No doubt at all. And it was public knowledge that at some point the governor of River State was supporting another, another group now that was opposed to the governor. But then what I'm saying is that one would have thought that your party would have done more than it did to resolve the issue and ensure that the governor did not leave.
You need to understand that a party did more than whatever understanding that you think you have. You recall that even members of the Governors Forum had to intervene. You need to also know that prominent members of the People's Democratic Party had to intervene. But like I said, the APC and President Muhammadu Buhari are driving towards a one-party state structure. And in doing that, they are deploying the coercion available within the presidential system to harass, intimidate our governors. But like I have also stated earlier too, that no matter how powerful in the history of this country, a president tries to use the enormity of the power residing in the presidential villa, at the end of it, they always fail. Because the power lies.
But some people would still argue with you that they just can't see how the presidency coerced some of these governors to join them. And we all know that some of these governors, of course, had their personal ambition, they had their personal interests, as we have seen in the case of Governor Matawalle'S of Zamfara State. Public perception, of course, is that he did it just to preserve himself in power. For the case of Ebonyi State, of course, has a presidential ambition, even though he's come out to deny that. But let me ask you, in the case of Zamfara, you have come out to issue a statement that you're going to go to court to challenge the defection of the governor and that you're going to ensure that he gets removed, so to speak, according to you, for breaking the constitution of the country. But we didn't see you do that in the case of the Cross River State governor. So what exactly is different in both cases now?
The environment is different. And if you look at the thought process of the People's Democratic Party, you will discover that what we are driving at the end of the day may even encapsulate the situation in Cross River. What are we driving out? We are saying that in Zamfara State, in the first instance, that Matawalle'S was not declared as governor by INEC. And that it was the Supreme Court that said that because of the misdemeanor electorally committed by the All Progressives Congress, that it will be needful for APC to be exempted from the process of the election in 2019. And as such, the party and its candidate that has scored the higher votes should go into office. And that conferred the governorship of Zamfara on the People's Democratic Party. Now the question is this, which is what we are taking through the jurisprudence process of our nation. The question is this, is it possible, is it realistic that a party which the law court said was not in an election can become a beneficiary of that same process which has been dismissed by the Supreme Court
But I still don't understand, because in this case, what we're dealing with is that you have a situation where the man who was eventually declared the winner of that election by the Supreme Court, and of course, let's be clear, he would not have been declared the winner of the election if he had not taken part in that election. But in this case, yes, it's true, he is the one who was actually taking everything now and joined the other party. So does it really matter whether the APC took part in the election or not?
DG, I am not a lawyer, but I read the judicial pronouncement concerning Faleke versus INEC. And I can recall that clearly the Supreme Court declared in that ruling that it is the party that earns the vote, not the candidate. And that the candidate in an election, because our law does not provide for independent candidates, the candidate in the election is an agent of the political party. So it is the party that earns the vote. Now we have a situation in Zamfara State where the governor said he's going to the APC, Nicodemously. APC that the Supreme Court declared was not part of the election. APC that didn't participate, that is not recognized under the law as having participated in the election. Now the deputy governor has said no. The judiciary conferred the result. The judgment conferred the outcome of the election to the People's Democratic Party. So I hold the mandate of the People's Democratic Party, and I will not take that mandate to the All Progressives Congress. All we are trying to do, DEJI, is to test our jurisprudence.
No, which is good anyway.
Our laws. We do not need, DEJI, let me make this point, please. We do not need to always amend the Constitution within the confines of the Parliament. The pronouncement of the Lord Justices can also help us to amend our laws. So now you tell me, DEJI, what is wrong in subjecting this process to illegal
there's nothing wrong. I mean, it would be very nice if you're able to push this through, because, you know, in the past we've seen situations where people defected and then at the end of the day, the party, of course, the party that these individuals leave would threaten to go to court, but then nothing happens. So it would be interesting, and it would be nice if you could test
I want to assure you, DEJI, that on this matter, on this particular Zamfara situation, the People's Democratic Party is going to test the law. Because it is convenient for us Nigerians, all of us Nigerians, to sit down and say, oh, PDP and APC are the same. They have no ideologies. They have no principles. I want to prove to you that the People's Democratic Party is not the same as the All Progressives Congress. We have different ideologies. We have different principles. And it is this, it is a need to enable Nigerians to realize this and to accept it. That is why we must go to court and challenge the situation in Zamfara State.
I mean, it's quite interesting. I'm waiting to see that happens, because really, it's the kind of thing we need in this country. The whole idea of people getting voted under one platform and then leaving. And not just for the position of governors, even for the position of lawmakers, where the law is quite clear.
So for the lawmakers, thank you for reminding me. For the lawmakers, the law is very clear. The Constitution, which they held on the day of their swearing in and vowed to uphold, is being defied by the same lawmakers. And for once, too, we want to test that in the law court. Because it is clearly stated in the Constitution. I cannot quickly recall what's it called now, where the subject matter is inherent. But what I'm saying is the section of the Constitution where this is contained. I cannot quickly remember it. But what I am saying is that it is established in that Constitution that you do not leave your party and go to another party. You do not cross the carpet unless there is a crisis leading to division within your political party. You cannot hide under conflict or contestation for power in Zamfara State, like the case of the parliamentarians from Zamfara, or in Delta State, like the case of Senator Peter Nwoboshi, and now run across to the other party. The Constitution provides that no, it's not acceptable, except there is crisis. that has led to division.
But you know, the irony of all of this thing is that your party has also been a beneficiary of this. We've seen people, we've seen APC members in parliament defect to your party. We've seen APC governors
been a beneficiary in a situation
the governor of,
where
the governor of Sokoto State, the current governor of Sokoto State now defected to your party.
Listen. My party has never been a beneficiary in a situation where the Supreme Court ruled that the PDP was not in an election. Then we will nicodemously go under, intimidate the governor, coerce him, because he has submitted himself to some misdemeanors bordering on corruption. Then we'll go and intimidate him and harass him and now take him over as a member of our party. The People's Democratic Party has never done that. And you can check the history of the party since 1998 till now. You won't find that. The point we are making in respect of Matawalle'S is that we want to ask the Supreme Court whether the action of Matawalle'S is in line with the ruling, the pronouncement of the Lord Justices, or it is opposed to it. And DEJI, the way this democracy is going, if you don't test our laws, we just wake up one day and discover that we have set aside the entirety of the Constitution and we are now being led only by the pronouncement of President Muhammadu Buhari.
Right.
I do not think that augurs well for our democracy.
It's good for you to test it, and I'm really happy to hear that, and I look forward to how this whole thing is going to play out in court. Kola Alagbondu, your spokesperson of the opposition People's Democratic Party, thank you very much for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, we'll take a short break now, and we'll be right back.
Opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
President must see himself as the President of the Federal Republic.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places. The Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On DEJI360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts, and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians are saying in this part of the world.
A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it, use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
DEJI360, dissecting the issues.